Today, I'm going to show you how you can accurately forecast your revenue 60 days ahead so you can make data-driven decisions, budget effectively, and hire at the right time, all with using the data you already have. And the best part is I've actually built a plug-and-play system you can immediately use right after this video. So let's get straight into it. So before we actually get into forecasting, where's the core problem? Everyone loves to throw around the phrase, we are scaling, we need to scale. No one knows what that means, and most businesses have actually no clue when it's the right time to scale. And it's all due to a poor tracking setup. Now, I just want you to understand the difference with this very simple example. So let's say we have a CRM where we manage all of our leads, and then we have an ads manager, right, where we manage paid advertisement, and then we have payment processors, Stripe, for example, to manage all of our finances. Every single place provides you with raw data. This raw data then should be transformed into one centralized system, aka tracking system, aka decision-making place. Therefore, if I want to scale, I need to see the entire picture because misoptimization will lead to so many future problems down the line. So the way it works, you get the raw data, then you through an automation transform it into one system. Now you might have a question, what if I don't have a centralized system? It's not a problem, sort of. When it comes to making a decision, it's actually your job to figure out whether or not some data is relevant. It's obviously much better if you have one centralized place where data doesn't lie and it's the same across all departments, but if you don't need it, then it's totally fine. Now examples, a very quick example of when you don't need a tracking system. Let's say you want to check a closer performance. You've been noticing one of the closers has been below the KPI for the past 2 weeks. And let's say you need to check the call recordings and type for end of the day submissions. Sometimes it's not just about the data and graphs and insights and whatever, but maybe, and this is like an extreme example, let's say someone died in his family. So he might be stressed out, down, etc. So you as a leader, you are there to help him get back on track, right? It's one very brief example. But when you need a tracking system is, let's say you want to compare sales performance across all acquisition channels. Let's say you need average lead quality, show rate, close rate, CPA. A tracking system can display all relevant, but mainly accurate data across all departments in one view. Let's actually come back to forecasting. What we want to do is project how much revenue we'll generate based on our current pipeline. In this case, we have two types of forecasting. The first one is past performance forecast, which is based on our past performance. If we generate X amount of leads, we will project Y amount of revenue. But then we have another type, which is current situation forecast. This is what we're focusing on today. So based on our current pipeline situation, we're projecting to generate X amount of revenue. This might sound simple, but isn't. You're probably thinking, let's count all deals divided by close rate. This is what we're projecting. But if you actually want to have an accuracy, it's much more complex than that. With our proper understanding of your data, you think you have 500K in the pipeline, but you only close 100. Decision on hiring, scaling, reinvesting gets derailed, and you have a guessing game, not a business. Now, since we're going to be leveraging our current pipeline situation, let's talk about deal creation and pipeline stages. Each and every single CRM names it differently. Close, I believe, is opportunities. HubSpot maybe names it deals, but it's the same thing. Let's actually look at when you should create a deal. This applies to high ticket offers. I would say in most cases, someone has to book a call in order to buy the service or buy the coaching program. So every time we generate a lead, it doesn't necessarily mean they will book a call. Therefore, it doesn't make sense to create a deal or an opportunity. However, they book a call, there is some interest, potential to close a new deal. The left part of the image showcases what would happen in the backend, right? So we generate a lead. Lead is created in the CRM, and once they book a call, then create a deal, an opportunity. Now let's look at pipeline stages. Every single business is different, so it kind of depends on your process and your setup. But pipeline stages are usually step by step for the prospect's journey. Example in the picture, we have a 2-call close, meaning someone is booking a call, then they're attending the first call, the second call, which is, let's say, a demo call. Then we send a proposal, and after the proposal, we close the deal. A lot of times, obviously, the prospect falls off somewhere, so you have to create other stages such as, follow-up, no-show, lost, etc. Bear in mind, not all deal stages are equal. Each stage has a different percentage probability of closing, which I'm going to be talking about in a few. So today, let's actually just focus on meeting booked stage, call completed, call to completed, proposal sent, and deal closed. Here are the 4 metrics you have to track in order to actually forecast the revenue. The first one is win rate, right? So the definition is percentage of deals that close. So if you take closed deals and you divided that by all of the deals in the pipeline times 100, it gives you the win rate percentage. Example, 30 deals and 6 closed deals, that equals 20% win rate. Now we have a pipeline value. This is how much revenue is actually sitting in our pipeline, right? The formula is very simple. You take like an average deal size value and you times that by number of deals. So example, 5K per deal times 100 is 500K in the pipeline. This is not weighted, which I'm going to be talking about in a bit, like I said. Then we have the close velocity, which is essentially book to close. It's average time from someone booking a call to closing a deal in terms of days. The calculation is very simple. You take in the date of the close and you minus that by the date of the deal creation. So for example, 10th of January minus the 1st of January is 9 days. And then the second tracking formula is actually taking all of the closed deals and doing the average, right? So example, we have 5 deals taking 12, 15, 10, 20, and 18 days, and the average is 15 days. Lastly, we have the weighted probability, which is the most important one. This actually gives you the accuracy. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning, not every single deal stage is equal. Therefore, the definition of this is the deal stage's probability of closing. There's different probability for meeting booked and different probability for proposal sent. In terms of the calculation, which I need you to understand, is taking the number of closed deals and summed up values of all deals to the deal stage. So for example, let's say we have 20 closed deals and 80 deals in the meeting book stage. Essentially what you would do here is take 80 plus 20 and that gives us 100, right? So now we're taking closed deals, which is 20, and we divided that by all of the deals, which would be the 100. So 20 divided by 100 gives us 20% probability. I've actually prepared the breakdown of each and every single stage and how to go about calculations. This document is going to be in the description, so you can go through everything step by step. But let's actually quickly go over it. So we have 460 deals in the pipeline, 200 in meeting booked, call 130, call 80, proposal 15, and deals closed 35. So as you can see here, we need to get each and every single deal stage's probability of closing, right? So from meeting booked to closed deal, from call 1 to closed deal, from call 2 to closed deal, and so on. What we're doing is we are summing up all of these values up until the deal stage. So if I was to give you an example of call 1 completed, we have step 1, which is 130 deals plus 80 deals plus 15 deals plus 35 deals. This gives us overall 260 deals, excluding the meeting booked. Then we take 35 closed deals and divided that by 260 deals. So the explanation is if a deal stage is call 1 completed, there's a 13.4% probability of closing. And you do that for each and every single stage. When it comes to deal close percentage, that's always 100 because the deal is already closed. And if we look at the win rate, that's essentially meeting booked or like the first stage of when the deal is created. Now I'm going to show you exactly what the tracker is and how to fully automate it. But before that, here's a simple framework step by step of how to go about building your own tracker. So the first step is always identifying the main goal. So what do you want to see and what questions do you need answers to? The second step is finding the data. So where do I actually get the data, right? In a CRM, in Ads Manager, Typeform, etc. Just depends on what you're trying to do. Then where are we actually building the tracker? This is based on your preference and which tool you select. But for quick and not complicated use cases, I would go for Google Sheets, Airtable, Smart Suite. And if you actually want to build a robust solution, for example, entire business overview, entire business alignment, I would go for something like Google Looker Studio or Bubble, which we're using. The fourth step is setting up the structure. If you want to automate your tracker, it has to be structured, right? Scalable-ish. And the last step is automating, right? So use tools like Zapier or Make.com. The general flow of the automation is a trigger. So let's say a deal is created. Then we search the row where we actually insert the data and then we update it. So like I mentioned before, this is a plug and play system. You can immediately use it, but let me just break down what is actually happening. So we have 3 separate tabs, which is dashboard, deals pipeline, deal stages. On the left-hand side, we can see our projections with the weighted probability. So since we calculated each and every single stage and its probability of closing, this gives us the accuracy and realistic expectations of what is happening in the future. I divided this in 3 separate categories. So we have the current month, we have the next 30 days, and next 60 days. This is looking at all of the deals that are not closed. So let's say for March, this month, we're projecting to close 100K in revenue based on our weighted probabilities. Then we look at the cash collected, which is based on your average cash ratio. On the right hand side, we have like the general numbers, right? So expected generated value. This is taking all of the deals within the pipeline, excluding closed deals, and just divided that by the win rate. This, as we can see, gives us $107,000 in revenue. But if we look at the weighted expected generated value, now we're taking all of the deals and we divided that by each and every single deal stage's probability of closing. As we can see, we're projecting to close $133,000 in revenue. A big difference. And lastly, at the bottom, this is like a general number. All of the deals times the average value of the deal, and then how many deals in the pipeline we have. There's obviously going to be a documentation breaking down how to set up everything, but this is just like an explanation of the dashboard. Now we're looking at the deals pipeline tab. This is going to be fully automatic once you set it up, but there's obviously a few things you have to configure. So as I was talking about, the average average book to close. When someone books a call to when they close, what is the average in days? Let's say in this case it's 15. Then we have the win probability or win rate. So that's taking off the closed deals, divided that by all deals. That gives you the win rate. Then we have the average deal size. So essentially what I would do is take all of the generated revenue and divide that by number of deals. And then we have the cash revenue percentage, which just depends on your payment structure or the way you try to sell your services. When it comes to a coaching program, not every single person has money to buy the entire program. If you're agency service, then it's different structure. So it just kind of depends on the sales call when you close the deal, how much cash you're actually generating. So in this case, let's just say it's 48%, which in decimal is 0.48. Now let's actually look at what's happening in the table. So very simple information: lead name, deal stage. This is a drop down of all our stages. Then we have the value, which is taken from this cell. Then we have the deal creation date. So in the automation, once a deal is created, it's going to update it here. And based on our book to close average, it's going to calculate expected close date. Then we have obviously the deal unique ID. When we want to update the stage, we have to find the deal within this tab. There's few conditional formattings, meaning, for example, if a deal is supposed to close, let's say yesterday, and it's today, it's going to highlight like in red. So you can kind of manage from here as well to see what is exactly going on with the specific deal. And going over the last tab, which is deal stages, right? So here you would fill out all of the deal stages you have and the weighted probability, right? So you would do this in percentage. So in our first calculation, as I was showing you the breakdown step by step, we have 7%, 13.4%, 27%, 70%, 100%. It's going to do all the decimals and calculate what we need to calculate. So if I was to just take this and put it into 50% rather than 70%, as you can see, all of the values have changed. Again, there's going to be an entire documentation of how to actually set this up. Now I built two very simple automations in Make, which I'm going to provide you with the blueprint that you can use immediately. But again, there's going to be documentation of how to actually set this up. In this specific automation, I'm using Close as a CRM, but the principle applies to Go High Level, HubSpot, etc. Again, in the documentation, I'm going to explain what is needed. So let's just look at what's happening here. Let's say a new opportunity is created, new deal is created. What we need to do is find the most recent deal and update the row below, right? So just taking all of the necessary information from the opportunity and updating. The second automation is pretty much the same thing. We just trigger when the deal stage is changed. So we're trying to find the specific deal by its ID, right? So we have deal unique ID, and we're taking just the object ID from the deal, and then we're actually updating the row, which is just one thing, and that's the deal stage name. When you actually set this up, it's going to be fully automatic. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just open up your Google Sheet and look at what's going on. Now, like I said in the beginning, this is a completely plug and play tracking system. If you want to get it completely free of charge, there's going to be a link down in the description, set up in 15 minutes and use forever. Now, this is everything from me, guys. How we can help: if you run a high ticket offer doing over 100K a month and you want to scale using data, book a call down below or check out our case studies, how we aligned sales and marketing for Business Coach Academy, or how we got client ascension to 62.5% close rate just by identifying which channel performs the best. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.